Hi guys, today is Friday. It is May 8th of 2020 and this is our last section of Number Corner that we're going to be going over for the week. And for this month we are doing some problem solving and it has to do with multiplication and division. All right, so our first thing that we're going to talk about is, let's see if we can remember this fanciness, the distributive property of multiplication. And that is simply what I'm going to show you today. Is if we take arrays that we already have and we break them down to make them smaller problems to make multiplying easier for us. So I'm first going to take a look at this first array. Do you see it? We have 4 going down and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So across these, where they're separated, it's 5. So that can help us count too. So we have 4 by 7. It asks me to write a fact family underneath. So I know that my factors are 4 and 7. And my product is, anybody know? 4 times 7? 28. Okay? So I'm just going to flip it around to do 7 times 4, commutative property, also equals 28. So I have that here. And then, if you remember, what day was it? Not yesterday, because yesterday we played our game with Miss Musto, but the day before on Wednesday, we did have a conversation about the parts of a division problem. And we said that when in the product of the multiplication problem, that's going to be what starts us off, the big number, dividend, in our division problem. So we're going to take 28, and I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to write this on a whiteboard, so it's a little bit bigger. So I have 4 times 7 equals 28, 7 times 4 equals 28. And then I'm going to put 28 at the beginning of both problems, so I can go ahead and get that in. So I know that my 3 numbers, 4, 7, 28, 28 is the product, so 28 starts this problem is the dividend here. So now I need to go and plug in these numbers. So I'm going to pick 4 first. So I'm going to do 28 divided by 4. And then I only have one number left to use, 7. And I'm just going to flip them around. 28 divided by 7 equals 4. So that's the fact family that I would be adding there. So that's how the multiplication and division problems are related. So next, for this distributive property of multiplication, it asks, how can I split this problem up into something smaller to help me? So if I have 4 by 7, if that problem's really a large problem and I don't like to multiply things by 7, it's hard. It's so hard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So you know what? I'm going to say to myself, let's make some smaller problems. I'm going to split up that 7. I don't like it. But I do like 5, and I do like 2. So that means I need to keep the 4 the same, and then I can split up my 7 into 5 and 2. So now I'm going to have 4 times 5 plus 4 times 2. And I can write that using my parentheses so I know that I'm keeping those problems together. Like this, 4 times 5 and 4 times 2. And then I'm going to add them together to get my final answer. And I didn't split it up this way because I kept the 4 the same. Instead, I split up the 7. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over here. So this is 4 by 5 and 4 by 2. So I can do these 2 smaller problems. I know 4 times 5 is 4 groups of 5. I can count by 5s 4 times. 5, 10, 15, 20. So I have 20 over here. Plus, and then over here, I'm just going to do double 4. Or I can look at the picture and I can see that there are 8 little circles on that side. So then I can add my 20 squished down there plus 8, and I get 28. Hey guys, guess what? Ding, ding, ding. That's the same thing I got over here on 4 times 7. So that's how I can do that also. All right, let's take a look at our next problem that we have on our sheet. And I see here that there's 3 rows. And then in each row, remember I told you this is the 5 line, so we have 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh, 3 times 8. And then 8 times 3. It's a commutative property. And I'm going to think to myself, oh, remember that song I told you about on Wednesday? So I'm going to go count by 3s 8 times. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. 24. So I get 24. So now I'm going to take that product of the multiplication problems and it's going to become the first number, the dividend, in my division problems. 24 divided by, 24 divided by, and look, once again, I can just do whichever number I want first. So I'm going to do 24 divided by 3 equals 8. 8 is the quotient, the answer on that problem. 24 divided by 8 equals 3, and 3 is the quotient or the answer on that problem. So once again, I'm going to have to go in and see how can I bust it up? What can I do to bust it up? So I have 3 rows, and then I have 8 in each row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I should have done this beforehand, huh? So now I have 3 times 8. So what I could do is I could break up my 3, or I could break up my 8. And this time I'm going to break up my little number because I know if I take 3 and I split it into 2 and 1, I can easily multiply things by 1 and easily multiply things by 2. So I'm going to take this 3 and I'm going to split it into 1 and 2. Oh, that's a yucky 2. So now I have 2 smaller problems. I have 1 times 8 and I have 2 times 8. So the distributive property of multiplication tells me that I can do that. I can take this array and I can just draw a line here and I can say, oh, I have 1 times 8 still, I have 2 times 8 still. And 1 times 8, the identity property of multiplication tells me anything times 1 is itself, so that's 8. And then 2 times 8, I just do double 8, so easy. 8 plus 8 is 16. So now to get the answer, all I have to do is add 8 and 16. So think about it. What is 8 plus 16? Da, 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 da. If you said 24, your answer is correct. 24. Hey guys, guess what? We got 24 over here too. So that is our fact family, and then this is how we broke our problem down. So at home, I would like you to try. Your challenge is to try to use the distributive property of multiplication for this problem. Whoa, that's a big one. So this one is 6 times 8. 6 by 8. So what can you do? Draw an array, break it up, and show us what your 2 smaller problems would be to answer that question. So using smaller problems to help you solve bigger ones. That's a great strategy in multiplication. Okay, so the next part is some mazes. So we have to complete each maze, write equations below, each one to show how you found the path from the start to the end. Okay, so I am not sure how to do this. Oh, it says the start and end. Oh, Mrs. Kane. So you start here. Okay, so 3 times 4 is 12. Is that right? Yeah. But then you can do 12 divided by 2 is 6. 4 times 5 is 20. Oh, sometimes you mess up. Guess what? This Maze tricked me because you can do all math. I didn't look at the end, so somehow I'm going to have to figure out how to get up to that end. How about 12 minus 2 is 10? Let's try that. And then I have, can I do this? 10 minus 6 is 4. 4 times 5 is 20. Looks good to me. All right, sometimes you just make up your own rules. All right, our next part of our computation or solving problems is actually solving the problem. So this part we're not going to do. We're going to go to the word problems. So the first word problem says, Mr. Garza has 24 flowers. I like to underline that, circle it, so I have that information. He divided them, I'm going to underline that, equally, and gave some flowers to each of his 4 sisters. So, I know Mr. Garza has 24 flowers, okay? So that's what I'm going to start with. It even tells me then in the problem that he divided them equally. So that means he gave them out equally. So I'm going to write the division sign. I don't know yet how he's dividing them. Let me keep reading. And gave some flowers to each of his 4 sisters. So 24 divided by 4 is my problem. And the way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to draw 4 circles. Each circle represents a sister. And I don't know how many each sister got. So with this division, I'm splitting this 24 into 4 groups, and I need to do it equally. So I'm going to go down the line and give out my 24 flowers one by one to each sister. So here we go. Ready? Here we go. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Uh-oh. I think I went the wrong way. Oh, I did. 23, 24. You have to make sure you count very carefully. And when I'm finished, how many dots do I have in each one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 4, 6. Each sister got 6 flowers. So my equation is 24 divided by 4. And then I'm just missing one thing in my answer. I didn't write the answer. So I'm going to write it in a nice sentence. Each sister received 6 flowers. The teachers love it when you write your answer nice in a nice sentence. And then if you circle it too, it makes it even better. Okay, our next problem says, Patty used to be a teacher named Mrs. Goodlin, whose first name was Patty. I love Mrs. Goodlin. Is buying pears to share with her friends. She bought 3 bags. Each bag has 6 pears in it. So I know that she bought 3 bags. Each bag has 6 pears in it. So am I splitting anything up? Let's think about it. 1, 2, 3. I love to draw a picture. I'll tell you that. So she's got 3 bags. Okay? And then there's 6 pears in each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pears in each bag. How many pears did Patty buy? All right, so this to me looks like I'm doing 3 bags, 6 in each. So that to me is 3 times 6. Or I could do some repeated addition because I am adding 3 equal groups of 6. So I have 6 plus 6 plus 6. 6 plus 6 plus 6. Or I could skip count by 6 3 times. So I could start at 6, and on the lines, I would skip count by 6. So what could the answer be? could always go back to that goodie, that oldie but goodie, that song. 3, oh, we're going by sixes, not that time. So we have 6 plus 6, a double 6, and I get 12. I'm going to write that on my line. And if I have 12 and I add 6 more, I'm going to get 18. So that's quite a few ways to do it. So they're all equaling 18. And then it says how many pairs did Patty buy. So I'm going to write my real answer nicely in a sentence. Patty bought 18 pairs with a period at the end. All right, so for this week, what I would love for you to do is, if you could, in the comments for our number corner, write a multiplication problem and leave it for your teacher to solve. That would be so great. So when I'm doing multiplication, I like to think of groups of things, what comes in groups or what comes in a set. So let's think. I know that horses have 4 legs, okay? So this is what we do. We do S1, statement 1, S2, statement 2, and a Q for the question. So you make sure you give all the information, okay? So you could say, I always like to start with that, just as we get going and get better. I have 6 horses. It's my first statement with capital and a period. Statement 2 is obvious. Each horse has 4 legs. Capital and a period. Now I need my question. How many legs are there in all? How many legs are there in all? So the person that's going to solve my problem is going to do 6 times 4 to get their answer. 6 times 4, and you would get, we said 24. You're on it. 24 legs. All right, guys, so think of some really cool multiplication problems. Leave them in the comments of your Google Classroom for today's Number Corner. And I hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.